What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, KurrentJoker here. Well, we're going to take full advantage of what's going on in the world right now and make a little video about viruses. You know, maybe it'll get me some extra views, maybe it won't. Who knows? We're just going to be talking about a couple deadly ones throughout history, a couple scarier ones throughout history. It just seems like an interesting topic to, bring up and share with everybody. So with that being said, let's get right into this. Alright. However, before we actually get into some of that stuff, in some of these you might hear me talk about the biosafety level of these viruses. And that might not mean anything to you guys when you hear it, so I'm just going to do a quick, brief explanation of what biosafety levels are. So there's 4 biosafety levels, 1 through 4 obviously. 1 being the least bad to level 4 being the worst. And basically each level is just a different set of procedures required to contain it. And yeah, that's basically all it means. So just know if I say, oh, this is a level 1, it's okay. Okay, it's bad, but it's not that bad. Level 2 is a little bit worse. 3, and so on. You get it. Alright, now we can actually get into this. I think the best place for us to start today is with one that is not really as much of an issue anymore, but we've all experienced, because we had a little outbreak with this a couple years ago with the Ebola outbreak. So that's what we're going to talk about. Ebola is extremely deadly. It has a mortality rate of 50% on average, which means if you get it, you basically have a coin flip at living. It was discovered back in 1976 on the Ebola River, which is where it got its name from, and that's located in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It is a biosafety level 4, making it one of the most dangerous pathogens on the planet. It spreads through contact with body liquids, stuff like that, body fluids and all that good stuff. Some of the symptoms, they start with a headache and a sore throat, but then they progress to very major problems such as internal and external bleeding, as well as multiple organ failure. So back in 1967, there was a group of scientists back out in Germany, and specifically Marburg, Germany. And these scientists were trying to use some monkeys that were imported from Africa to work on a polio vaccine. Now, however, these scientists ended up contracting a fever, which would now be known as the Marburg virus. The Marburg virus is also a biosafety level 4, making it extremely dangerous. And it's at that level because it has a fatality rate of up to 90%. And it is also spread through human-to-human contact. But, something you'll see as a similarity through all of these diseases is the initial symptoms don't seem that bad, but then will all lead to organ failure and internal bleeding, and usually that's just what's killing you, along with it attacking your immune system, because that's exactly what the symptoms that the Marburg virus has. It's, you start off with a headache and a fever. Now this one's a little weird, but you'll start off with also a rash on your torso, which would be a very big sign. But then again, it leads to the organ failure and everything. There is no cure. That is kind of the bad thing, along with the Ebola. There's no known cure, 100% definite cure. The last case is reported back in 2014 out in Uganda, and it was an American tourist who was exploring a cave full of fruit bats, and that was the last known case of it. Okay, so now we have the Lassa virus, and guess what biosafety level it is? Yeah, it's also a level 4. This is actually an airborne virus, technically. However, humans can only spread it to each other through contact. But this virus is another reason just to stay away from rodents in general, because it's carried by a very specific species of rat in West Africa called the Mastitis natalensis. All right. Now, it's only airborne when you're like nearby their fecal matter. You can get it without touching it or anything like that. If you're near it, you'll get it. And it actually only has a mortality rate of 1%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but then once you're hospitalized for it, the rate goes up to 50%. So yeah, it's still extremely deadly, and it causes about 5,000 deaths every year out in West Africa. And it has some interesting symptoms. One of the ones that last the longest, though, is deafness, which is freaking horrifying. It starts with a fever, just like all the other ones, but can progress to facial swelling, new skull bleeding, and then, as I said, deafness. Fortunately, researchers and medical professionals have found some success in treating early stage loss of a fever with antiviral drugs, which is a very good thing to hear. Okay, you guys got me. We're not talking about the coronavirus in this video. I mean, we're going to probably talk about it a little bit, but it's not on the list because this is going to be one we all remember if you were alive anytime in recent history. And you may think that the whole outbreak pandemic thing is bad right now. You need to try to remember what happened when this went down. The influenza virus, because no virus can claim credit for more worldwide pandemics and outbreaks than influenza. The Spanish flu back in 1918 is generally considered to be one of the worst pandemics in human history, infecting 20 to 40% of the world's population and killing about 50 million people in the span of just 2 years. Well, the H1N1 swine flu was its most recent newsmaker, when a 2009 pandemic may have caused between 100,000 to 400,000 deaths worldwide in its first year alone. Effective influenza vaccines exist, and most people can easily survive infections. But the highly infectious respiratory illness is cunning. The virus is constantly mutating and creating new strains. Thousands of strains exist at any given time. Many of them harmless, and vaccines available in the US cover only about 40% of the strains each year, though. So, even though there are vaccines for it, it's still scary to think that there's literally so many different types of strains, and the fact that it's always mutating, that at any moment there could be another outbreak of it. And this time there might not be a vaccine for it. And it's killed so many people throughout history. It's just horrifying to think about, It's wild, really. So with all that being said, I just want to, have a brief thing to say about what's going on right now. Everybody just try and stay clean right now. When I say that, I mean, make sure you're washing your hands as much as you can. Use your hand sanitizer if you're able and fortunate enough to get it. Don't be afraid to go out into public, though. Don't be afraid. Don't let something like this halt you from living your life, okay? I think that's one thing that's going to happen to a lot of people, is they're just going to become like little hermit crabs inside their homes. Don't let this make that happen to you. Go out there, you live your life, and don't be afraid of it, alright? And yeah, just take care of yourself, because as long as you're taking care of yourself, everything is going to be okay. And keep, make sure you're working on keeping your immune system good. That's another big one, is if you have a good immune system, you have a pretty good chance of either not catching it, or if you do, you'll be okay, So just don't be afraid, everyone. Well, that was a few viruses throughout history that were pretty deadly, pretty scary, and it was just a little interesting video to talk about. I had a thought about doing this subject during work yesterday, and I was like, ooh, what better topic to talk about right now than this? So yeah. Also, if y'all could just do me the biggest of favors, I would really appreciate it. You already know who my boy is. His name's Current Plays. We've been friends for the longest time. He just hit affiliate on Twitch. Super proud of him. If you haven't been by one of his streams yet, make sure you go by. You'll definitely see me over there every once in a while. He's very entertaining to watch. He stays truly engaged with his audiences. Not only that, though, he is 9 subscribers away from hitting 100 subscribers on this platform. So if all of you guys could just do me the solid and go over there and maybe watch a couple of his videos, drop a like, but most importantly, you hit that red subscribe button, because he's been working his butt off lately trying to just grow his name, grow his channel, growing his brand, really. So if y'all could just do me that favor and stop over by, let him know that Joker sent you here, and yeah, be on the lookout for more videos from me. As always, just, have a good day, everyone. Treat each other well, and y'all have a good day. I'm out.
The other one?
Underneath. Just fell down. Got her. Good games, boys.